Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them. Psst. Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Welcome to SCIF. On this one. So we didn't chance it together cold, but that's Virginia. Wants a crew for the engagement already. And shout where to come. Aggregate 611. Going on, about to get on a plane to Beirut. There is happening in the world, and a lot happening. As you may know, we get part to the Hoff brothers, who are in medical treatment over. They're a competitor. We don't wish to harm all of us because they go off. So put prayer out for them right now as we speak. We've got today Chris Gleason, because there is a campaign to Ron DeSantis in office at the federal. Did you know that? And notice too. So we're going to get that a little bit. It's an hour we met Salamander, who's going to give us a front to be delivering. And I think that our audio is not working. Well, let me just hold on a second. Should be okay. So that's got one day. Take a booster. Listen to a little Friday, but we will be right back to, and we'll to meet and come.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest Made in America sale ever. We just put huge discounts on products made right here in the USA. My Pillow bed pillows, body pillows, go anywhere pillows, bolster pillows, all made with my patented adjustable fill. Mattresses, mattress toppers, mattress pads, adjustable bed frames, mattress foundations, and so much more. All made right here in the USA. And now we're expanding our USA products beyond just quality sleep. Like the cross I wear every day, now available in both men's and women's. We even have USA-made socks. And are you tired of being tired? Try our new health beverage, Rev 7. Or how about my coffee, the greatest coffee ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get deep discounts on all these products. Plus, for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Divorce is tough, but your finances don't have to be. I'm David Cross, and I'm a certified divorce financial analyst practitioner. My job is to help you get a fair financial settlement in your divorce and to guide you to smarter money decisions. Find out how we can help you. U.S. Asset Management. It's your money.
A warm welcome here at the National Press Club. Welcome to the journalists, welcome to the Embraer team, and welcome to the other guests that we have here. We're going to announce, and as some of you guessed it right when they came in, the first E2 order by an American operator. And that operator is Avello. We believe this is really a strategic shift to unlock profitability for the customer. I'm very pleased that we have Andrew Levy here as the CEO of Avello, and I'm very pleased to give the stage to share a little bit more about what Avello is going to do with the E2 195. Thank you very much.
Couldn't be more excited to be here as part of this historic announcement. We have such a great cultural fit as companies, so we're very, very excited to be Embraer's newest customer. We launched our airline in April of 21, and our target is focusing on small secondary airports of large metro areas. We've carried over 8 million customers since we started on 63,000 flights. And we've done all these things with 1,200 of the greatest crew members I could ever imagine having, and many of them are here with me today. This is the right airplane for us. It's going to open up opportunities for us that no other aircraft can serve. The best thing about the airplane, of course, is you will not find a middle seat on this airplane. It doesn't exist. We won't have any to offer. It's going to be the best cabin in the United States, and we're so excited about that. This is going to elevate our experience to the highest level, and we think our customers are absolutely going to love the airplane.
Fighting soldiers from the sky, fearless men who jump and die, men who mean just what they say, the brave men of the Green Beret, silver wings.
Welcome back to the SCIF. Hope you can hear me okay. If you can't, let me know. But a lot going on today. We are on the move. We're going to be in Beirut reporting live over the next few days, and then having some incredible interviews. And we've got a lot happening at CDM. We're going to see all new studios in the next 30 days and a complete revamp of everything on our production value. So stay tuned for that. Working with Willie Laura with CDM Espanol, who built CNN Espanol. And we're going to redo everything because the content's fantastic, but I fully realize we need to up our production value. So that is in the works. I've got Mr. Chris Gleason in the green room. I'm going to bring him in, and we're going to talk about what I noticed with Ron DeSantis. Mr. Gleason, soon to be Senator Gleason, how are you?
I'm well, Todd. I'm well.
I noticed a narrative, and I saw it. You know, these narratives just kind of appear, and then you see them across everywhere. You see it all at the same time. And Ron DeSantis, it seems he would make a great vice president. What do you think?
No. No, absolutely not. Can't be trusted. So, there's what Ron DeSantis says, and there's what Ron DeSantis does. We've seen what he's did to President Trump. We saw what he's done here in Florida. Now, I mean, I know a lot of people love Ron DeSantis. They, banter around, he's the greatest governor in the United States. But I think the problem is when the government is being run by a cartel of election criminals. The least ugliest house on the street is not the best house on the street. So it's just, it's just not acceptable.
I noticed it also in some areas of conservative Inc., which I found interesting because you can kind of connect the dots, right? You can see the spider web appearing of who's pushing who. It's quite fascinating, and we've gotten really good at noticing these narratives. But tell me, we've talked about DeSantis a lot. We've talked about the election fraud network in Florida. I think our audience is well aware of that. But what are you doing right now? You've got the Senate campaign going on, but also several court cases. Can you give us an update on all that, please?
Sure. So I've filed billions in FEC complaints over the past 45 days or so now. 50. So we've got a lot of that going on. One of them is against Ron DeSantis and his CFO, Blazing Goglia. And they've done a lot of bad stuff. Ron DeSantis has taken money from the CCP while he talks a tough game. He's done a lot of criminal money laundering via the WinRed smurfing networks, and so has an Ashley Moody. There's a lot of deeply troubling things going on here. I filed the Office of Foreign Asset Control petition, probably the most comprehensive and thorough petition of its kind ever filed, even by the DOJ, to try to sanction and seize the illicit monies that have been criminally laundered into our political system here in Florida and nationwide. We've filed FEC complaints against Act Blue, who is now suing Ken Paxton, and they're in for a really rough go between Peter Bernanger's lawsuits and his FEC complaints and mine, in addition with Ken Paxton's. I mean, Act Blue, they're saying they have clean hands in all of this, and it's a First Amendment right deal, and criminally laundering money via the stolen identities of elderly people and claiming that it's a First Amendment issue, that's just not going to hold any water. So we know what they're doing. They've tried to shift tack. We've identified how they're doing it, what they're doing. And, frankly, I can't wait. I just can't wait for the discovery to come out for Act Blue, because the FEC has no quorum. So people like Peter Bernanger and myself, we're able to initiate private citizen actions against Act Blue and these other money launderers, to include Ron DeSantis, Blaise Ingoglia, Ashley Moody. And, there's also criminal complaints that have been filed here in Florida, filed against Ashley Moody, against Blaise Ingoglia, against everybody who took Chinese communist money.
So what's going on with the I guess interviews you did with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement? Any action on that? Any response? Anything?
Well, yeah, there's been some action that directly implicates FDLE and people within their office. So, as you know, we had done the tracker that we had sent out to trace how first-class mail would arrive at some of these undeliverable as addressed addresses. And we had tracked the one from Largo to Tampa, to Sarasota, back to Tampa, and then to Fulton County, Georgia. Well, the FDLE inspectors, they were so intrigued by this tracker, right? They were all about the tracker. They as soon as the video portion was over, they're like, "Hey, can we see what you got on your phone?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And so I showed it to them. And then within 24 hours, the tracker that I had been tracking for months to Fulton County, Georgia, suddenly disappeared.
Wow.
So, yeah, wow. And I mean, these are people who report directly to Mark Glass for FDLE, Cord Bird, James Uthmeyer, Ron DeSantis. I mean, we've documented all of this. So, and we've been handing a lot of this stuff over to the feds. Now that Pam Bondi's gone, who we know was installed to prevent anything real from happening. Maybe Todd Blanche will do something, maybe he won't. What I do find very, very interesting, and you guys are going to be the first to hear about this, right? Because we like to break great stuff here on CDM.
Sure. Thank you.
So on Friday of last week, a guy by the name of Rivera was found guilty on money laundering, and he was a former congressman tied to a influence operation tied to Venezuela, a foreign government, tied to Ballard Partners, and they criminally laundered money into his political campaign, right? Well, the stuff that we've documented here in Tampa and nationwide with the Act Blue and the Win Red stuff. That's criminal money laundering too. And so the DOJ mapped it out pretty well for us on, the path forward here. And so ultimately, the case that we've been building here in Florida against the Chinese communist-controlled company, USA, who also took PPP money, who also took EIDL money. It's all of that money is illegal. It's illicit. And so once you criminally launder that money into your political campaign, well, now you have a problem.
Yeah.
Now, everybody's saying, hey, Chris, maybe they didn't know about it. Well, they've been on notice, and nobody's refunded any of the money. They have certainly not refunded it to the Treasury, because you can't really go giving back illicit money to the people who criminally laundered it in, right?
Right.
So,
well, where do you go from here, Chris? You've laid it all out. You're running for the office. I want to talk about that, but what's next? What else can you do?
More lawfare, more lawsuits, more. We're tied to the campaign as a declared candidate for United States Senate. Mm-hmm. I have the right and the ability to request a grand jury investigation here in Florida on a county by county level. And the grand jury law says grand jury shall investigate it. So we did this. We tried this when I ran for supervisor of elections before, but we have so much more evidence now. We have email. It is incredible, the collusion that we've uncovered here in Pinellas County. You were there for my show trial, mm-hmm. and we've got a lot more on them now, and it's even worse for them. So the question becomes, can Ron DeSantis pardon himself as governor? Because that's kind of where this is going. Wow. And because there's a lot of talk online, right? People are saying, "Oh, Ron DeSantis for AG, Ron DeSantis for a Supreme Court." Mm-hmm. No, Ron DeSantis, he needs to be held accountable because he betrayed President Trump. He's betrayed the people of Florida. And, do we live in a nation of laws or do we not? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us about the campaign. How's it going? What are you doing?
Well, I'm not taking CCP money, and I'm not taking APAC money, and I'm not taking corporate money criminally laundered into my campaign through the stolen identities of senior citizens.
So we don't need to run a Smurf check on your donations.
At this point now, we do. I was concerned that they were going to try to Smurf money into the campaign, mm-hmm. But they're not. It's.
Oh, you mean you thought they were going to try to do it to you, and then you up? Yeah, but they haven't. So I think they know that we're onto them. And the bigger thing then I have to call to everyone's attention, right, is that it's really hard in this economic environment to raise money. Mm-hmm. And arguably, I've done so much for the cause, right? We're on the way to bankrupting Act Blue. We're on the way to bankrupting the Democrat Party. One would think, right, that if all this money is flowing around on both sides, we're emailing people, we're talking to people. I can tell you that people are very upset with the current political environment. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why the Congress and the Senate have an abysmal approval rate, but yet somehow they keep getting reselected, right? So, my campaign's great. We're talking to a lot of people. We've got grassroots folks all over the state. We're about to roll out some new stuff. We're going to we're playing things very smart. The big thing is we are very bootstrapped and cash strapped, because we're not taking the illicit money. Mm-hmm. And I know that the money that we're seeing flowing into all of these other campaigns
is directly tied to money laundering. So you've got Vindman, right? Probably about 95% of all of the money that Vindman has taken in came in through the smurfing money laundering network, through contaminated cross committees. I mean, all of Ashley Moody's money, for the most part, was raised here in Florida and illegally converted over to federal funds. So, I mean, you know, in my eyes, those are the two opponents that I have, and both of them have really big problems with their funds. So when people do say to me, "Oh, well, Chris, you know, how's your fundraising going?" Like, well, my fundraising going is okay. I'm not taking illegal money. And the question is, what is going to happen to these campaigns? Because they're not refunding the money, right? And if they're not refunding the money, that means that they're using the money, and they only had 10 days to do something about it. So what's going to happen? Well, I think that all of this stuff, when it comes out in court before a jury, I think the jury's going to do the right thing. I think the American people are going to do the right thing, and they're going to convict them, or they're going to fine for me.
Any word from the GOP, Chris? Anybody reaching out to you and saying, you know what, you got some interesting investigations, we want to know more about it? Or, I mean, nothing. What, any, we want to help you, we want to hurt you, anything?
Well, I mean, they're already helping Ashley Moody. You know, they're claiming that she has incumbent status, and so they're, you know, they're funneling money to her. We've got Rick Scott telling Rocky Rockford that he needs to support the other primary candidate. Rick Scott has got a big money laundering problem himself. On two fronts, or maybe three. One, to the smurfing network. Two, to the Chinese communist controlled company. And we've recently discovered that Rick Scott was the #1 beneficiary of the special needs trust that was pilfered by Leo Gavoni here in Tampa Bay. Rick Scott received the largest amount of money that was stolen, right, from widows and orphans, disabled widows and orphans, and criminally laundered into the political campaigns of quite a few Florida politicians to buy influence, which allowed the scheme to probably occur for a lot longer than it should have.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Anything else? How do people help you? A lot of people are really frustrated, Chris. I get a lot of, when you can have that Gleason guy back on, I need to hear, you know, you haven't had him on in a week. I mean, I want to hear what's going on, but how do people help?
So if you want to support my investigative efforts, you can support me on Substack, but right now we really need help on the campaign. And that would be voteforgleason.com, donate. You know, we really need, we need to help spread the word. And if you don't have the money to do it because of the impossible financial situation that the bad guys are putting us all in right now, well, you can get involved locally. You can share stuff. I mean, we're churning out a lot of good information, you know, in the Miami Independent, on my Substack, you know, where I am 100% being throttled. On X, Elon Musk has stripped away my ability to do live or spaces, which I am not going to stand for at this point. And Elon Musk is going to find out what lawfare is about. So, but I need, you know, we need help sharing our information. We need help, you know, getting the message out. We need people to go and vote. That's even more important, right? Because only 20% of the voters in the primary in Florida come out. I mean, 20%. I mean, we need souls to get to the polls and help us restore our state.
Yeah, for sure. That's an issue. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I wanted to get you on to talk about DeSantis. Is there anything else that you need to get out or talk about?
Yeah, if you are really interested in helping, and you think that there was election fraud in Florida, you can go to the Vote for Gleason website, get involved, and we're going to be rolling out a citizens tool that allows voters, qualified voters in the state of Florida, to demand a grand jury investigation into election fraud. So that would be helpful too.
Outstanding. Chris, we'll have you back. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, Todd. Bye-bye.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold, often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience, and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
If you haven't noticed, gold has reached a new high, all-time highs actually, and keeps going up every day. Why is that? It's because precious metals are a long-time historical store of value. And if you own a portfolio and you have assets in the fiat currencies, i.e. stocks, bonds, cash, or whatever, you're vulnerable to hyperinflation, which is coming as our debt explodes another trillion every 90 days. It's really scary. So how do you protect yourself? Go to Advisor Metals. If you look on any of our cdm.press sites, about halfway down, there's an ad for Advisor Metals. Click on it, fill out the form for your contact info, and Ira Bishotsky will contact you and talk to you. It's an easy conversation. There's no sales pitch. He's completely verified by us. He has a regulatory background we've checked into. We've checked with his bankers. We've checked with his IRA custodians for metals, and we can highly recommend Advisor Metals and IRA. So go to Advisor Metals. If you call them directly, tell them we sent you at CDM, and he'll definitely take care of you. But protect your portfolio because you really need to. It's coming. Thank you.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Do you already have your investments with Fidelity? I'm David Cross with U.S. Asset Management. Did you know that you can assign your investment management to my team and put my 35 years of experience to work for you? You simply assign us as your investment manager, and you keep the same username and password. Professional management, and you get to work with someone who shares your values. Call U.S. Asset Management today and put us to work for you.
Welcome back to the SCIF. Check out mark37.com/CDM. This is our new sponsor, and we really want to highlight getting our customers, our readers, our viewers into a phone that's unplugged from the matrix and can help preserve your privacy. Different operating system. You can go to mark37.com/CDM, and there is a sign-up page for a 30-minute consultation by Mark 37 about how to increase your privacy. We're going to be doing a lot more about this over the near future, but I just wanted to highlight that. Please check out mark37.com/CDM. All right. This show's a little bit discombobulated today because we are juggling travel, some things happening at the network as far as upgrades and a lot of different I guess, inquiries coming in that we're having to deal with. So a little bit discombobulated today. We didn't have the cold open prepared because the team literally was up all night working on other issues. And you'll be seeing the results of that over the next few weeks. But I'm going to play now the interview I did with Commander Salamander over the weekend on the naval issues facing the U.S. government, and we'll go from there. Going to be a little bit of a short show today, but we'll be back soon, live from Beirut. So here you go, Commander Salamander, favorite of the show. We're honored to have back on the show Commander Salamander, who is in demand, and I really appreciate him spending some time with us. Thanks for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, Todd, thank you very much for the invitation. Always enjoy the conversation.
Yes, so do I. Well, the big elephant in the room, if you will, is the blockade. So I have some questions as not a naval guy. What do we have the force structure to do what Trump has asked from a naval standpoint? We'll start up with that.
We're unlucky and lucky in two ways. We're unlucky into the fact that even though we are the world's second largest Navy, people still don't know that the People's Republic of China actually they lapped us a few years ago. They're a larger Navy than we are, though they say stay closer to home than we do. Even though we are the world's second largest Navy, and I still agree we are the most capable Navy, simply because of how we operate and the amount of experience we have. We do not have a large enough force structure. And the events since the October 7th invasion of Israel from Gaza and all the follow-on conflicts with the Iranian proxies and against Iran itself has come up. Our surface fleet and our carrier fleet, which has always been forward deployed, has really, a lot has been asked of it. And everybody should be really proud of the work they've done. Decades of hard work and making the right decisions has been helpful, however, ships are mechanical things. They require maintenance, they require upgrades, they require replacements, parts wear out, and people are the same way. And our ships are undermanned, and so you have the human element of you short cycle to what you think is going to be a 6-month deployment that becomes an 8, 9, or 11-month deployment that has lots of repercussions when it comes to retention, performance, and everything else. And you also have ships that are designed to have regular service, and you have machinery that is designed to be used for X number of hours before parts wear out and they need replacement, they need service. You know, think of when you buy a car. And let's say you're similar to I am, is that, one thing my dad always taught me, you take care of your car, it takes care of you. So some people tell me I'm stupid, but that's okay. But I always do. And my military background reinforces, I do my regularly scheduled maintenance with my privately owned 3rd generation local dealership. And you do that now and it takes care of you later. I'm a firm believer in that. And let's say I had a certain budget. And my budget assumed that every year I'm going to put 15,000 miles on my truck. And because of life, I'm actually putting 25,000 on it. I have one of two options there. I either increase my budget to get additional service and be prepared for parts breaking and wearing out faster, or I hope for the best and pretend that I'm not going from 15K to 25K.
Right.
That's where we get in trouble. If people remember, and if they aren't, I encourage people to look up, just Google 2017 Fitzgerald McCain enter, and you'll catch up on the events that happened the summer of 2017. You can do that for a while, but then eventually it catches up, and that doesn't even begin to approach the consumables, because the fighting a war like we did, dodging waves of drones and missiles and cruise missiles, is one thing. A blockade is another. A blockade is whereas a war against waves of air attacks is a sprint. A blockade is a marathon. So that takes ships, and that also takes people to be able to rotate in them. And unfortunately, we have an unbalanced fleet. Instead of a high-low mix, we just have a high mix. We have Arleigh Burke-class destroyers doing a mission that would be better done by a frigate, but for a whole host of reasons, we don't have frigates. Mostly due to our own institutional and programmatic failure. So that can we do it? Yes, but there's going to be a cost, and it would be best for everybody if this was resolved sooner more than later. Because at the end of the day, what this is, to quote President Lincoln, one war at a time. This is the war we have right now.
Right.
But the real war that we need to be prepared for is the war in the Pacific, west of the international date line against the People's Republic of China. And in order to be ready for that, and I'm going to channel my inner Bridge Colby here, we need to make sure that our ships, our inventory, and our sailors are ready for that, because it might come in 6 weeks, it might come in 6 years, it might come never.
Yeah.
And what happened in Iran, I think people of goodwill can argue plus or minus, but it's happened. And we need to recognize how that's impacted two things. One is a money and industry problem that is increasing production of everything from the brand new Dark Cloud, Dark Bird, something. Anyway, the Army's hypersonic long-range cruise missiles that's still in the final stages. They want to forward deploy the handful that we have to SM-3s, Patriot missiles, the whole shooting match of things that we've expended. That's one battle. The other battle we have is a thing that's kind of like car maintenance. We should have brought in our F-150 to get its 100,000 mile service at 100,000 miles. We're at 120,000 miles. We still haven't changed the oil. We still haven't rotated the tires. Nobody's checked the transmission fluid. Nobody's checked the belts. It's just been holding together, and that works until it doesn't. And we need to get our fleet back, and we need to reset our sailors and reset our ships such that they're at the state of readiness they need. Should we have indications and warning that some interesting data out there that the People's Republic, they're not collapsing, but they're contracting. That as
you mean China, economically, right?
Economically, demographically, etc.
Yes.
If they take the red, for those that have an operational planning background, different courses of actions, you war game, very different things. Red, most dangerous course of action. If the People's Republic of China selects the red, most dangerous course of action, vice the most likely course of action, then we've got a challenge.
Yeah. There was a report that, and I don't know the name of the ship, and maybe this wasn't true, but that an Arleigh Burke destroyer caught fire today and was out of service for a while. Did you see that?
I saw that. I didn't get much details. I will say this. There are fires on ships all the time.
Yeah.
Yet you do drills constantly. Fire, general quarters. A common phrase in the service warfare community. It's always said best by Brian McGrath, who's a former skipper of an Arleigh Burke destroyer. You practice until you reach perfection, then you practice perfection. And the reason why you do that, one is, you never know when you're going to have a cruise missile come across the horizon, or you're going to bump into a mine. But the more likely thing is you don't know when you're going to have a laundry fire, when you're going to have an electrical fire. When Seaman Timmy was supposed to do his preventive maintenance on a valve or a filter, and he's grumpy and he decided that he was just going to gun deck it and not do it. And so that valve bursts or that filter catches fire, and all of a sudden it's 2:00 in the morning and you open your eyes and from the bulkhead to the deck, it's half full of smoke. These things happen. So it's not unusual.
Yeah. Is the blockade working, in your opinion?
It depends upon what your measures of effectiveness are.
Well, I mean, logistically, are we stopping ships from, I'm not saying in a geopolitical sense, but
Sure.
Are we shutting down the strait?
From what I've seen in open source, yes. I have looked at people who have said that the blockade is not working or it's a failure. But when I read what they're saying, they don't have any facts to back it up. It's just opinion. They might be right, but you need some data to back that up. I think ultimately we'll find that out, probably in congressional hearings when all this is said and done. However, there was a movie made years ago about the Cuban Missile Crisis. I linked the video a while ago, and it's got McNamara in the Navy CIC somewhere, all nominal, and the admiral yells back at him when he objects to them firing star shells over a Soviet freighter. That we've been doing blockades since John Paul Jones, and McNamara got all upset with that. But that's true. One of the, and I wrote this a while ago, and it's true. Since before the dawn of time, our ancestors were in a canoe. They took to the other side of the lake to go pick figs off of a tree, and they were rowing their canoe, and it got halfway across the lake, and then the other tribe rowed out to meet them and said, "No, you're not taking the figs off of our tree. This is our tree. Get your happy ass over to your side of the lake." That was a blockade. Humans have been doing blockades from sea since the dawn of time. So we know how to do this. Depending upon your admiralty lawyer and how you wordsmith it and sea lawyer it, a blockade is an act of war. But in this case, so is dropping bombs on most of your civilian and military leadership. So, and the scale of things, I think that that ship has already sailed, so to speak. But it's a shame, and that we don't have more people helping us with this. But that's not unexpected, and we've been there before.
So what about the mines in the Strait? Is that an issue, or are we able to clear it? I know that the 4 minesweepers we had that were off station my understanding is they're back in the theater. What's going on with that?
Well, I haven't seen the videos and pictures of ships with big holes in their sides. Reading between the lines, I think the Iranians may have had a chance to dump a few mines out somehow. I don't know. It doesn't take much to drop a mine or two. The LCS with the mine warfare module, this is their opportunity to prove the skeptics wrong. If there are mines there, they can find them. There are ships that are traversing the Gulf. I mean, the Straits of Hormuz, and that's a sign. But again, it's all insurance, it's odds, it's the cost, it's the risk. I think what will be interesting is we're at a point right now, and the truth might change while we're talking. But the negotiations are coming and going as we wait and see. And one of the sticks they're holding up is we haven't struck them in a while. And what happens when you take a operational pause? Nobody's used that term, but I like to use it because I think it's accurate. One of the things that you can do, and this is your intelligence officer, your intel shop, your J2, your N2, whatever you want to call it. They get to look at, before the conflict started, they had their primary, secondary, tertiary target list, and you refine it constantly. We've hit this, knocked that off this list. We got 80% of this. We haven't gotten this yet. And then as intel comes in, and as your opponent responds to your actions and moves things around, creates other challenges, you build another list. And when you have a ceasefire, that quote other list, hopefully your intel shop is growing that list. And while that list is growing, you're resting, rearming, repairing your strike assets, which in this case will have to mostly be air assets, because one of my hobby horses, if you'll give me a second, Todd, to pull it out of the barn here, we don't have the ability to reload our VLS cells forward anyway. So we have to have new ships come in with CONUS or other locations filled up VLS cells. So anyway, your aircraft, that's one thing that I'm guessing here, and this is nothing other people have made this guess. You've seen a lot of C-17 traffic going across the pond recently. That's bringing new weapons in. So we're bringing our weapons and our stockpiled for our forward deployed assets. And then if Iran doesn't want to play, we're going to go to the targeting shop, and they're going to be excited as little puppies at breakfast time. They've got their list, and we're going to go swat what's on the list, and we're going to start knocking things off again. And Iran should know that.
Sure.
Israel has their own list too, but I don't know what Israel's going to do. They're kind of occupied in southern Lebanon right now.
The buys we're making, let's shift a little bit to, well, actually, I had one more question in the theater. There was a tape that came out, and I don't know if it's real. I have some of my Delta guys trying to find out that part of this whole shoot down exercise and why it took so long was that they inserted some soft teams to destroy a Chinese shoulder-fired, heat-seeking missile cell, anti-aircraft cell that had smuggled weapons in, and that may have been what they caught on some of these ships that they boarded coming into the theater. Do you know it? Have you heard anything about that?
I have not, but that would make sense to me. There is, and you know this, and we don't talk about specifics, and a lot of your listeners know what I'm talking about here. Whether you're talking about operations or capabilities or systems, there is a hidden world out there that we just don't see. And sometimes you see a little ankle or you see a little shimmer and you go, hey, I think that might be, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So there are things that happen and things that we find out, things that we discover. And the Lord's work that organizations like Palantir is doing, they're able to create 10 of X, where before we could only do 0.5 of X. So we're just discovering a whole bunch of possibilities out there. And I think that should be expected. We'll read about it in 20 years if the good Lord lets us stay on the earth that long. So yeah, I think that's a fair guess. And people should have confidence that I get the impression this administration, and for somebody on active duty, had a backpack full of a lot of ROE that bound what we were doing in very frustrating ways that resulted in a lot of my countrymen and allied forces get killed and maimed. This administration seems to be pretty open with their ROE and is willing to take risk, the type of risk that can make things politically uncomfortable. And you might lose 4 or 5 people, but when you play the game 4 or 5 pieces down the board, you can save hundreds to thousands, or if you stop somebody from getting a nuke, millions of people's lives. So that encourages me that we are doing things similar to what you said, and that we have America's finest in small groups with poorly kept hair and beards, doing things our children will read about that we'll all be proud about.
Yes, I'm trying to confirm some of that, but it seemed reasonable to me.
I agree.
But I think the Chinese are definitely, and the Russians, by the way, are definitely supplying them in different ways. But
it is in their interest, and I'll put on my little fur hat, my little Russian hat. Were I Russian, as much as I could do that had the minimum risk of it blowing back on me, I would do what I can do to embarrass and bleed the Americans white, because that's what they've done to me in Ukraine.
Well, I was going to say, we're doing it to them today. So
and the Chinese, they're interested in keeping us busy, keeping us distracted, and seeing how our systems perform, to see how their system performs. We've done a lot of unscheduled range time for them. Just kind of a sidebar, and I'm just guessing here. But a lot of these Chinese generals and admirals that have been invited to retire or disappear early the last few years, I I think there's a connection to that where when you look at how the Chinese equipment performed in Venezuela, you see how it performed in China. That if Chairman Xi is ruthless as I think he is, and the people in his inner circle are, they're going to go, show me those reports where you told me this was effective. Who signed off on that? Who approved that? Oh, General Hugh. That's very nice. I have a job for you in Western Zhejiang that you need to take care of near Camel Farm. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I think that's the Chinese are getting value out of this as well, because they're going to find out what works, what doesn't, and who inside their chain of command is bullshitting their civilian leadership about their capabilities.
Interesting. So last question. We're doing a lot of buying. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the budget requests, the amount of ships. Where are we in that whole game to rearm, essentially, in naval wise?
Yeah, you look at, and I did a post on this on the 22nd of April. If anybody looks it up, where we got funds coming in. The president proposes, the Congress disposes. So this is what the president is offering forward. Congress will do something else to it for fiscal year 27, which starts the 1st of October of this year. And it's a big chunk of change. And the 18 battle force ships and 16 auxiliary ships, things that caught my mind is, we talked earlier about how we just don't have any frigates. And that we could probably spend a whole day talking about the history of that. That's something that should have every taxpayer and their elected representatives beat red, angry, and phone flicked. But we have FFX, which is going to be a Greyhold, which means a Navy version of the Coast Guard's Legend class cutters. It's a cutter. It's not a frigate, but they have Flight 2, which will have what you would think a Navy ship would have. But that's okay. It could do a lot of the operations we're seeing right now. But you don't see any funding on that. You have one in fiscal year 27, another one in fiscal year 29. They're not going to show up till the 30s. That is disappointing. Another thing that's disappointing for me is when you go from FY25 to FY31, 6 years, only one aircraft carrier, which that tells me in President Trump's budget shop, you don't have your advocates for the carrier force. And there's some great people, good people, smart people doing hard work. I trust these people to babysit my kids, but I have a disagreement with them in that regard. Everybody wants to talk about the battleship. We finally have some funding in FY28 for the battleship, and one in 28, one in 30 and 31. So we actually have more money for battleships than we do almost anything else. And there are some things that are good. And there was a ship when it first came out at the first decade, I was very critical of the San Antonio class LPDs, amphibious ship. They had titanium fire mains. They had this fancy mast that really didn't work, but they fixed that with Flight 2 and on, and they've managed to fix that class. It's still expensive, but it's got a lot of versatility. And we're building, except for 26, we're building at least one a year out of that, which is nice. It's good to have. We're doing 3-2, 1-1-1-1-1, 2-2 with Arleigh Burke class destroyers, which is really the only game in town. And I think people can argue a spot here, a spot there, but I think it's a pretty good plan. We have some fireboats finally. One of a huge disgrace to our Navy was the Bonhomme Richard. Had just come out of, it was still in the yards, it was almost done. And we still don't know how that fire started. They tried to, and again, some people have done good research on this in the press, but it hasn't broken a lot of the background. But I think it's important that it does. People need to understand that going back to the Iowa turret explosion many moons ago, there's a problem where the Navy justice system looks for scapegoats, and they try to scapegoat a sailor who was ultimately found innocent.
Mm-hmm.
But we lost that multi-billion-dollar unique capability ship.
Yeah.
But we're building more of them, and part of the problem was the accountants and the people that do the odds say we don't need fireboats. We don't need fireboats. It's kind of like insurance for your car. You don't need it till you need it. Or medical
Well,
insurance.
I was a helicopter pilot in the Air Force for combat rescue. Exact same thing. You don't need it till you really need it. So,
by the way, we got to tilt our hat to your brothers with the rescue of the F-15 Echo guys. The what was it? The 920th out of Patrick had some players in there. I think everybody had a player in that game. The Air Force rescue folks, what an incredible job everybody did there. And it was just great training, great equipment, great planning, people making the right call, a fair bit of luck, but hey, tilt your hat where you tilt your hat. That was nice.
Well, the thing that the lesson learned in all of that is, one, the training that we've been doing for decades that developed in Vietnam works like a champ if you have the right people, the right aircraft that are trained. And the A-10 was, in Vietnam we had the A-1 Skyraider or whatever, was a fantastic Sandy, which is the aircraft that circles the helicopters taking out any targets. The A-10 is even better because of its weapon systems. And I believe this is why the Air Force is keeping, I think, 19 of them around specifically for that mission, because they realize they don't have anything else that can do that mission.
Yeah. So, and can take a hit and keep flying.
Yeah.
The one that was hit, that they managed to make it back enough that they did become a problem themselves. But you look back at Vietnam, the A-1 did not have the armor to take hits and keep going like the A-10 did. And you and I are probably in the minority here that likes to argue this point, but it drives me batty that we have no plan to replace the A-10. And I know the A-29 can do part of it, but the A-10 is a unique capability that we're going to miss it when it's gone. But we've got another 3 years.
I think, through 2030. Yeah. One more year, but they stopped training pilots for one. This year. There's really nothing else that can do that mission. So I don't know what you're going to do if you have to go long range and pick up a pilot like that and you need air support. I mean, the F-35 is just not going to do it.
Well, it's the same answer I give because we no longer have flying boats. We're going to have airmen who are going to die and are going to be taken prisoners because we have no way to rescue them. Or what was it? That movie they made about the shoot down of the EB-66 in Vietnam, was it Bat-21?
Yes.
I think there were like 11 people died to rescue one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we developed after Vietnam. It's like we're not going to have this rescue to death ratio anymore. And we got great stuff, but I do know, especially in the 1990s, because a very good friend of mine was an MC-130 guy. And they fought, clawed, struggled, hid stuff in the reserves during the 1990s. We almost lost it. But it's here for us now because we got good and we got lucky. But and there's nobody else that can do that. None of our allies had that capability.
Well, it's fighter mafia in the Air Force. Unfortunately, I experienced it firsthand. We never had enough flight hours. We never had enough aircraft, never had enough training. But, you still make it do. But you're right. You're not as good as you could be. Anyway.
You need to be a 1.0, but you'll take a 0.8 if everybody's offering you a 0.2 instead.
Yeah, definitely. Commander, thank you so much. Really enjoy speaking with you, and have a good evening, and thank you for your time.
Oh, appreciate it, Todd, and hope you all have a great May.
All right. Take care.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold, often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience. and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
A warm welcome here at the National Press Club. Welcome to the journalists, welcome to the Embraer team, and welcome to the other guests that we have here. We're going to announce, and as some of you guessed it right when they came in, the first E2 order by an American operator. And that operator is Avello. We believe this is really a strategic shift to unlock profitability for the customer. I'm very pleased that we have Andrew Levy here as the CEO of Avello, and I'm very pleased to give the stage to share a little bit more about what Avello is going to do with the E2 195. Thank you very much.
Couldn't be more excited to be here as part of this historic announcement. We have such a great cultural fit as companies, so we're very, very excited to be Embraer's newest customer. We launched our airline in April of 21, and our target is focusing on small secondary airports of large metro areas. We've carried over 8 million customers since we started on 63,000 flights. And we've done all these things with 1,200 of the greatest crew members I could ever imagine having, and many of them are here with me today. This is the right airplane for us. It's going to open up opportunities for us that no other aircraft can serve. The best thing about the airplane, of course, is you will not find a middle seat on this airplane. It doesn't exist. We won't have any to offer. It's going to be the best cabin in the United States, and we're so excited about that. This is going to elevate our experience to the highest level, and we think our customers are absolutely going to love the airplane.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Welcome back to the SCIF. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed Commander Salamander. He's always one of my favorites. Extremely knowledgeable guy on naval matters, and we'll be putting that out on the Pacific SITREP on our armedforces.press channel. Please check cdm.press several times a day. It's really important for us to grow the network. There's so much going on right now, and you will be seeing the fruits of these efforts over the next few weeks to a month or so. But you've heard me talk about the surveillance state for years. Every call, every search, every text is logged, profiled, and sold. But here's what I've had to reckon with. Knowing about it and actually doing something about it are two different things. Going ghost isn't a product you buy. It's a decision you make, like choosing to eat clean or homeschool your kids. It requires intention. It requires learning. I'm personally in the middle of that transition right now, migrating to Mark 37's Ghost phone and Ghost laptop, and I'm telling you it's real and it's worth it. But it starts with education, not a shopping cart. Go to mark37.com/CDM. Make sure you put the /CDM on there and get a free webinar. That's where the journey begins. So we're really going to try to educate our readers on privacy and unplugging from the matrix, because you know, you see it everywhere. You see the new legislation in Congress that your car has to have a kill switch. They are really trying to control you. So you need to unplug, and we want to help educate our audience on how to do that. So mark37.com/CDM. Go there, check it out. All right. I ask you to go to cdm.press, sign up for our socials, CDM1 on Rumble, CDM on YouTube. Please subscribe. And CDM_press on X, really important. I am at real Todd Wood on X. And we're on podcast. We're on Gettr, multiple X channels, multiple Rumble channels. We load the show on YouTube. We're everywhere and growing. We got 8 million on Truth now. We're really, really happy with the support we got from Truth Social. Really good engagement there. We want to keep that going. that's all I got today. We're a little bit, as I said, discombobulated today. We're going to be back tomorrow morning. It's going to be a rerun tomorrow because I'm going to be traveling en route to Beirut. We have an interview with the head of the Free Patriotic Movement, which is one of the largest Christian parties in Beirut, which we'll be putting out. We'll be doing some live shows direct from Beirut, Lebanon. And then we've got a lot more coming after that. So really, really, really all focused on this. So thank you. We'll be back tomorrow, and it's going to be an interesting week. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us today on the SCIF.
Thank you.